I was opening the Pizzaplex just like a normal day. Everything was normal. The YN stood inside the Pizzaplex by the entrance and took a big deep breath. "I don't want to do this today," they whispered to themselves, staring at the floor for a while. They'd been dreading going into work recently because, well, they've developed a bit of a crush on Sun and Moon. They knew it was weird. I mean, they were daycare animatronics. Keyword, animatronic. But they couldn't help it. He was so sweet and kind and good with kids, and Moon was so rough and stern. You felt butterflies every time he was around you, so you've been avoiding them. Ryan opens the daycare, looking in the child's room prepared to set up, a room for a certain cheerful animatronic. You look around the room, your eyes search for the familiar form of the cheerful and energetic Sun. But, however, to your surprise, there was no sight of him. The room was quiet, no laughter or the sound of him singing cheerfully. Curiosity creeps into you as you step in further into the room, your sneakers squeaking against the padded floor. You look around, making sure that he's not hiding in some of the play structures or behind one of the many toys or colorful mats scattered around. You make your way through different play areas and nooks through the daycare, still not spotting Sun. A sense of unease begins to settle in the pit of your stomach. Sun was always present before the daycare opened, preparing for the day. His absence was unusual and a little unsettling. "Sun?" you call out, your voice echoed slightly by the emptiness of the room. No answer. You stand silently for a moment, listening for any signs of movement or response from the usually cheerful animatronic. You look at your watch, decide just to get the place ready for the kids and wait. Plus, avoiding him would avoid your raging heart and the urge to slam your lips against his own. You start tidying up the different play areas, making sure that the toys are neatly stacked and everything's in its rightful place. The tasks distract you for a moment as you hum to a random tune, your hands moving on autopilot since you do this every day. But every now and then, you find yourself glancing around and towards the entrance, hoping to see Sun walk in, but he still doesn't. An hour passes, and with each minute, your worry and curiosity grows bigger. Where could he be? You wonder. His absence is becoming a little bit concerning, especially considering his usual punctuality. You continue preparing the daycare, moving from one activity to the other, ensuring that everything will be ready for the kids who will be arriving later in the day. But your mind begins to be preoccupied by the thoughts of Sun's no-show. Your watch beeps, signaling another hour has passed, yet there's still no sign of him. Daycare feels lonely and empty without his presence. You decide to head over to the security desk and check on the security cameras. You finally finish setting up the daycare room. The room is now brimming with toys, mats, and colorful decorations ready to entertain the children. Yet there's still no sign of Sun, not even a note explaining his absence. Your patience starts to wear a bit thin. It's now been 20 minutes since before opening time, and the kids would start piling in soon. Without Sun, how would things run? You sit on a small stool, your fingers drumming against your leg as you keep checking your watch. Where is he? You mutter to yourself, your worry intensifying. The clock on the wall seems to tick louder, almost as if it's counting down the seconds till the children will start to pour into the daycare. Your heart thunders in your chest, a mix of worry, confusion, and fear gripping you tighter with each passing minute. As the clock strikes on the opening hour, the first few children begin to trickle through the door, their small voices filling up the room. Their parents give you a quick nod and leave, assuming the daycare attendant is just late. You force a smile and greet the kids, trying your best to hide your worry. "Have you seen Sun?" one of the children pipes up, looking around the room with their big innocent eyes. The child's question stabs you like a sharp icicle, a reminder that his absence You force another smile. No, but he'll be here soon, don't worry, you assure the child, though the words felt more like an empty attempt to convince yourself more than them. The wait is becoming excruciating as more children arrive, their numbers growing by every minute. You try to keep them entertained, but your heart is elsewhere, worried and anxious about Sun's whereabouts. You make sure the kids are playing before slipping into Sun and Moon's room, hopefully to find something that can explain his absence. Your heart beats as you look around, walking to it. The space is smooth yet soothing and chaotic. You hear a familiar voice, Sun's, but it sounds like he's engaged in a one-sided conversation. You approach, you hear him talking, ranting almost, most likely to Moon. The conversation is hushed and almost as if they're having a private argument. I just don't get it, Moony. Sun's voice reaches your ears. It's exasperated and laced with frustration. He's pacing around the room, his hands animatedly waving as if he was explaining something. You lean against a wall, trying not to make a noise. You listen in. Sun's pacing continues. His footsteps are almost hypnotic as he vents. How could I have feelings for YN? I mean, they're just a human. Just a human. And I'm a daycare attendant. Sun's voice wavers as he continues, a hint of vulnerability sleeping through. I try to act like it's nothing, but every time they're around, my heart feels like it's about to explode, and it's like this overwhelming. I feel like I can't even explain. Sun's voice wavers as he continues, a hint of vulnerability seeping through. I try to act like it's nothing, but every time they're around, I don't know what to do. He stops pacing, facing a wall as if he was contemplating his next words. And the worst part is I think they may feel the same way. I've caught them looking at me, and sometimes the way they talk to me, you can't help but feel a pang of embarrassment as you've been eavesdropping on Sun's heartfelt confession, which was definitely not your intention. When you enter the room, you take a big deep breath, preparing yourself for what's to come, and decide to knock on the door frame. Sun? You call out, trying to sound as neutral as possible. Sun turns around, quickly startled by the thoughts and the moment that you called out. For a second, he looks like a deer caught in headlights, his eyes widening in shock. Hello, YN? He stutters, running a hand through his tangled hair. Hi, how long have you been there? Sun's expression softens, his surprise replaced by a hint of guilt. He glances at the floor, avoiding eye contact. He starts struggling to find an excuse. I was just having a talk with Moon. He explains himself before you could even say anything. Sun sighs, his words tapering off into silence. He looks up, taking a step closer. There's a moment of tension between the two of you. I was just wondering where you were because the kids are here. You try to explain. It's not like I didn't want to be here. He starts, his voice quieter, almost a whisper. I just had a lot on my mind. I apologize. Sun takes another step towards you, closing the distance between the two of you. The close proximity makes your heart thump faster in your chest. You can almost feel the heat radiating off his metallic frame. He sighs once again, his voice soft and almost vulnerable. I have something I need to tell you, YN. He confesses, his gaze fixed on you intensely. The air is thick with tension, his close proximity making it hard to think straight. Your heart is pounding furiously. The anticipation of what might be said is almost too much to bear. You can see the myriad of emotions in his eyes, vulnerability, nervousness. You've seen glimpses of it before. Yes, son? You reply, your voice surprisingly steady given your current flustered state. Sun takes a step forward. He takes a shaky breath, his fingers fiddling with the fabric of his pants. He looks like he's gathering the courage. His eyes locked on your own, searching as if trying to draw strength from your gaze. I've been wanting to tell you this for a while, he begins, a slight tremble in his voice. He hesitates, his voice faltering as if the words he wants to say are stuck in his throat. The silence stretches out. The only sound is this hum of the air conditioning and the steady tick of a clock. Somewhere in the background you can hear children laughing. Sun's mouth opens and closes a few times, as if he's trying to coax the words out of his own throat. You can almost see his internal struggle, the hesitation, the fear. Sun's eyes widened. For a brief moment, he's caught off guard, but then a soft, almost inaudible gasp escapes his mouth. His hands slowly come up to your face. His touch is surprisingly tender, almost vibrant. The cold metal of his hand sends a shiver up your spine. It's not an unpleasant sensation. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Your lips lock, moving against Sun's in a soft, tentative kiss. As if time had slowed down, the entire world began to melt away into the background. There's a strange kind of warmth to his metallic lips. It's kind of electrifying. It buzzes between the two of you and sets your nerve endings on fire. Sun responds to your kiss, his body pressing up against your own. His hand still cupping your face as if he's afraid you'll pull away. The kiss deepens, it's an unspoken intensity, passing between the both of you. Sun pulls you closer, his arms wrapping around your waist. The grip was firm yet gentle. The kiss deepens, his mouth moving against your own, with a growing passion, a need that seems to be bent up for a while. He guides you backwards, pressing you gently against the wall, trapping you between his body and the cool surface. Every place he touches you is like it's being set ablaze. The kiss is smooth and electrifying, the contrast to the sensations that ignite in your belly. Sun breaks the kiss, but only so he can press his forehead against your own. His eyes close as if he's trying to capture the moment forever. He's breathing heavily, his mouth is slightly parted and his hand is still on your waist. I need to explain something, he says, his voice slightly hoarse, the words coming out a bit breathless. Please, let me explain. You struggle to get any coherent words out. Your mind was dizzy from the intensity, but you nod, your own breath coming out in shaky puffs, your body trembling slightly from the aftershocks. Sun takes a deep breath, his hands moving from your waist to gently cup your face again, as if he couldn't bear to not touch you. He's so close you could hear his internal systems, the warmth radiating. Earlier when you came in, I was having a talk to Moon. I was ranting about something and he pauses, his hand stroking your cheek tenderly, as if he's trying to gather the courage to continue. You can tell he's nervous, probably even more than before. He takes a big deep breath. I was ranting about you, about my feelings for you, YN. The confession hangs in the air, the words reverberating around the room, almost echoing off the walls. Your heart skips a beat. Butterflies erupt in your stomach and you look up at him, searching the space for any hint of defeat. All you see is hope, honesty, and vulnerability. I was trying to tell Moon, but I can't hide it. Every time I see you, I feel like my heart goes into overdrive. Sun confesses, his voice a bit firmer. Like, I've tried to deny it and ignore it, but I really like you. I really like you. I know it's probably weird, and I'm trying to like a human, but I can't help how I feel. I need you to know, and I need you to understand how much you mean to me. His eyes fix on yours. You can see the nervousness, fear, and all of it just remaining in his gaze. Please say something. His voice breaks. Say anything. You cut him off with a hearty kiss, completely silencing all of his nerves once again.